Rainy is a 20-year-old university student who is passionate about video editing, keyboards, coffee, music, and of course, rain. Her interest in mechanical keyboards started at an early age of 13, but she did not own one herself until the age of 17 in 2020. This came in the form of Royal Clutch RK61. This keyboard ended up being one of her many as she got more and more invested into the hobby of building custom keyboards. Eventually, this led to her posting a video showing how she built her first custom keyboard on TikTok last year under the name CED. Since then, she's racked up over 1,500 followers and almost 36,000 likes. Rainy has branched out to other platforms like Instagram and YouTube. On Instagram, she has been creating regular content and she has now over 7,000 followers. Her most recent expansion has been to YouTube, on which I came across her videos while researching for a suitable keyboard for my own content. Her aesthetic thumbnails made me click on her videos. Her insight and presentation made me subscribe to her channel. My initial research before discovering her channel had been a daunting experience with many keyboard jargons I did not understand, so I appreciated the chill and easy vibes of Rainy's videos as it made for a more gentle introduction. At the same time, I could also see myself referring to her videos even when I'm more experienced and knowledgeable, as her videos are rich with details and insight. With this quality content, perhaps it's not surprising that she has brands that are knocking on her door to collaborate. Some of the collaborations so far include Echo, Cable Mode, and Capco. Watching Rainy's videos, I got inspired by her attention to details in both her keyboards and video editing. I think she has successfully branded herself and managed to stand out in a genre that is difficult to put yourself into across many platforms. So I was excited to receive a reply when I reached out to her to ask if I can pick her brain on keyboard, social media, and life in general. I had a lot of fun talking to Rainy, and because of that, I lost the track of time. In the end, the interview ended up being 3 hours long. It was so great meeting her, and I was happy to discover that she is not only an intelligent entrepreneur, but also a genuinely nice person. My interview with Rainy was not only a fun one, but also an informative one, as I asked a lot about keyboards and social media. So if you're interested in these, I'll recommend watching the full interview on my channel, but in the meantime, this is my journal of the interview. While arranging for the interview, I found out that Rainy is a university student. I asked Rainy what she was studying at the university, and she told me she is studying multimedia arts. She told me that she can apply a lot of skills she learns from her studies to her Rainy keyboard content to keep it fresh. This may translate to something like using different graphics and placement. It sounded like she had a natural curiosity for multimedia content from young age. She told me she started creating videos from since she was a child because she was intrigued by how different videos could bring out different vibes. Her studies and experience are definitely paying off. She said her goal in her own videos is to put out cozy and jazzy content while still giving detailed information, and that is exactly what I get from her videos. With this visible passion, I was not surprised to find out that she sees herself creating content as a career. She also told me that she has a long list of dream collaborations, and it is her goal to tick all the boxes and more. At the rate she is blowing up, this does not seem to be a distant reality. Rainy even received a couple of packages during this interview. One of the things that made me reach out to Rainy was because her videos seemed to be very distinctive to her own style. Talking to her reinforced this idea of her having a clear vision. Aligning with this idea, she told me that she considers herself to be a confident and determined person. She also told me that she wasn't always confident though. She said she was a very shy child, but her confidence grew as she had to interact with different people pursuing her many hobbies. This eventually made her feel confident and comfortable around others. Having had a similar experience in my childhood, it was impressive to hear Rainy put herself out of her comfort zone to pursue her passions. Just like Rainy, I've also had few different hobbies, and I've learned very different lessons from each of my hobbies. And I wondered what you could learn from the keyboard hobby when you're heavily invested in it. When I asked this question to Rainy, she said she learned a lot, like from collaborations, content creation, to of course, keyboards, as well as technology in general. She also pointed out that she is now much more knowledgeable in materials after learning how polycarbonate sounds with nylon, or how aluminum sounds and has different effects on your keyboard. Personally, I really loved hearing how, taken out of the context, it would not be the most fun subject to talk about, but suddenly it became really interesting because you're working towards something that you like. Having been trying to purchase my first mechanical keyboard myself though, I was aware that the cost is a major obstacle for a lot of beginners when it comes to getting into the mechanical keyboard hobby. I asked her how she approached this issue. She confirmed that it is a very expensive hobby. Quote, "This isn't just a random cheap hobby, sadly. This is some adult kind of shit. If you're getting into this hobby, either don't or be rich beforehand." She also said that because of the cost, she decided to stop purchasing keyboards November last year, and that was when brands started reaching out for sponsors. This kind of events makes me think some things might be meant to be. She did have some advice for people that are wanting to getting into this hobby though. She recommends starting out with a budget keyboard, and from her experience, she recommends TM680, which was her first keyboard, but she enjoys using it to this day. Listening to her first keyboard ever, and as well as knowing my own guess, I had to ask the keyboard setup she was using for the interview. I'll let you find out for yourself, guided by the beautiful sound of her keyboard typing. Having started from her budget keyboard to being sponsored by brands, I asked her if her taste in keyboard has changed much over time. To my surprise, she told me that it has changed a lot. She says she used to be into Lofi keyboard, and now she is into some Klexiner keyboards. She also said she has grown to hear and appreciate subtle differences different keyboards have to offer. Even with the vast knowledge and experience in this space, the learning seems to not have left Rainey's mind. She says she has a lot to improve on in this keyboard hobby, from building keyboards to social media. From what I can see, she gets inspired by other people to have this kind of mindset. She told me there are many people that are more experienced than her whom she can learn from. In particular, Rice Cloud and Milky Tofu seem to be some of her biggest influences. Nearing the end of the interview, there were still a lot of questions I wanted to ask Rainey, so we had a quick fire session, and this is what I learned. Favorite collab so far? Akko. Favorite switches? Zakus or Cosfox Illusion. Favorite keycaps? JDA Catpole keycaps. Favorite keyboard? QK65. Favorite mouse? Logitech Lightspeed G502. Favorite anime? Perfect Blue, Beyond the Boundary, or Kamisama Kiss, or Sword Art Online. Favorite non-keyboard YouTube channels? Boss vs. the World or Tough. Before we ended the interview, I asked her what she wanted to say to her fans. Her message was all a message of gratitude and appreciation. She also wanted to let the audience know that there's still a lot more we can expect from her in the future. This may be from content we are more used to, like modding sessions, building sessions, switches, and keyboards, to content we have yet to see, including vlog, fake content, and even her own mechanical keyboard or desk brand with Milky Tofu. Even before the interview, I already had been thinking Rainey's content was innovative and refreshing. But hearing about her future content plan added on a whole new dimension for my appreciation for her pursuit. It was inspiring to hear about how much she has grown as a person and as a content creator. From being a shy young kid who was fascinated about how different videos could have different vibes, to becoming a confident entrepreneur who never ceases to learn. In a lot of ways, I saw myself in Rainey's brief talk of her childhood. While our paths have been quite different, our conversation gave me an opportunity to think about how I got to be the person that I am today, from who I was as far back as I can remember. I find these moments of reflection valuable in appreciating what I have now and projecting where I may want to head. So let me say a heartfelt thank you, Rainey, for being so awesome, and thank you everyone for watching. If you're at all interested in mechanical keyboard, Rainey's channel is a great place to start. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I recommend watching the full interview where we get into many more topics. Love you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.